Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Johnson. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 23rd of August. Afghan refugees protest before UNHCR office in Indian capital for security resettlement. Rising prices shuttered banks add to misery of residents of Afghan capital. And tourism sector continues to suffer in Gilgit-Baltistan due to government negligence. And now for all the details. Afghan refugees staged a protest before the office of the UNHCR in Indian capital New Delhi on Monday, seeking refugee cards, resettlement options to a third country, and security from the international body and the Indian government. Thousands of people are scrambling to flee Afghanistan after the Taliban took control of the country. Meanwhile, the second batch of 146 Indian nationals who were evacuated from Afghanistan via Doha arrived in the national capital on Monday on various flights. Afghan refugees, including women and children living in Indian capital New Delhi on Monday, held protests to draw the attention of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees (UNHCR) and the Indian government to their plight, demanding refugee cards, resettlement options to a third country and security. A large number of desperate Afghans are fleeing Afghanistan following the takeover of the war-torn country by the Taliban. Taliban entered Afghan capital Kabul on August 15 after rapidly taking over much of the country. India's Foreign Ministry on August 17 said that India will issue emergency e-visas to Afghan nationals who want to come to the country in view of the prevailing crisis in their country.
इंडिया गवर्नमेंट और यूनिटसीआर अभी 10-15 साल से कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं किया, कोई इकोनॉमी के हिस्से से हेल्थ एजुकेशन और कुछ नहीं है हमारे लिए। आज के बाद हमारे लिए कोई इनकम नहीं है। अफगानी यहाँ बगैर कोई इनकम रहते हैं, इसके लिए तो ज़रूर कुछ प्रोटेक्शन ज़रूरी है।
हमें यूनिसेफ से रिक्वेस्ट है कि हमारे फ्यूचर के लिए कुछ करें, क्योंकि यहाँ पे ना हम पढ़ाई कर सकते हैं और ना काम कर सकते हैं।
Meanwhile, the world is closely watching the unfolding situation in Afghanistan as the countries have scrambled to evacuate their citizens from Afghanistan in an attempt to secure their people. India on Sunday brought back nearly 400 people, including 329 of its nationals, in 3 different flights. The second batch of 146 Indian nationals who were evacuated from Afghanistan via Doha arrived in the national capital on Monday on various flights. Indian capital New Delhi got another smoke tower on Monday after Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal inaugurated the pollution-fighting structure in Connaught Place area. The tower will purify 1,000 cubic meters of air per second within a radius of around 1 kilometer. Speaking at the program, Kejriwal said the tower has been set up as a pilot project and initial trends will be available within a month. If the pilot project is successful, more smoke towers will be installed around the capital. A smoke tower is a structure designed to work as a large-scale air purifier to curb air pollution particles. After the polluted air enters the smoke tower, it is purified by the multiple layers before being recirculated into the atmosphere. Notably, Delhi is one of the most polluted cities across the country and it witnesses a major fall in its air quality during winter. Last year, India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party lawmaker Gautam Gambhir had installed 3 giant air purifiers in Delhi. Rising prices and shuttered banks have added to the misery of residents of Afghan capital Kabul, while businesses have been under stress after the Taliban took control on August 15. Meanwhile, US Vice President Kamala Harris on Monday said there will be plenty of time later to analyze the events in Afghanistan. The current US priority is evacuating Americans and vulnerable Afghans.
A week after the Taliban's lightning seizure of Kabul, growing number of people in the Afghan capital are facing a daily struggle to get by with their jobs gone, banks still shuttered, and food prices soaring. As the days pass, everyday worries about food and rent are adding to the uncertainty in a country whose fragile economy has been crushed by the disappearance of international support. prices of staples like flour, oil, and rice have risen by as much as 10 to 20% in a few days, and with banks still closed, many people have been unable to access their savings. With Western Union offices also closed, remittances from overseas have also dried up.
از روزی که طالبان وارد کابل شده و نظام تغییر کرده، امنیت کابل خوب است و طور کامل خوب است، ولی مردم نگرانی‌ای داره که با زبان آوردن نمیتونه. بعد از یک سو بانک‌ها بسته است، کسایی که در دفترهای ملکی کار میکرد و حسابشون معلوم است، مردم سراسیمه است باش که.
Over the weekend, leaders of the Taliban who have sought to show a moderate face since capturing Kabul held talks on forming a government with top political leaders. The group said announcements will be made soon. Meanwhile, US Vice President Kamala Harris during her official visit to Singapore said on Monday that there will be plenty of time later to analyze the events in Afghanistan, but that the current US priority is evacuating Americans and vulnerable Afghans. The airport in the Afghan capital since Taliban's Kabul takeover has been a center of chaos as the US and other foreign citizens evacuate along with Afghans, fearing a return of a brutal form of Islamist government the Taliban exercised when it was in power 2 decades ago.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan marked a grim milestone Monday morning as its coronavirus death toll reached 25,000. Pakistan's total number of cases now stands at 1.12 million with 89,919 active cases. In view of the rising number of COVID-19 cases in southern Sindh province, the provincial government has decided to extend the closure of schools for longer.
Pakistan's COVID-19 death toll crossed the grim milestone of 25,000 on Monday after the country reported 80 new fatalities over the last 24 hours. The total number has increased to 25,003. According to the National Command and Operations Center (NCOC), a department leading Pakistan's campaign against the pandemic, Pakistan's total number of cases now stands at 1.12 million with 89,919 active cases, 1,012,662 recovered and 25,003 deaths. Meanwhile, in view of the rising number of COVID-19 cases in southern Sindh province, the provincial government on Sunday decided to keep schools closed for longer. Earlier, the government had announced that schools in Sindh would remain closed till August 30. Sindh Chief Minister Syed Murad Ali Shah in a statement had said that teachers, staff and parents should be vaccinated before schools reopen. The Sindh government had earlier warned that if coronavirus cases continue to surge across the country, strict restrictions may be imposed once again. Residents in Karachi city said imposing lockdown isn't the solution to contain the virus.
आनन ये इन्होंने लॉकडाउन किया तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये न इस शहर के मुफाद में है, न इस शहर के जो रहायशी हैं उनके मुफाद में है, और ख़ास तौर पे जो रोज़ाना की बुनियाद पे कमाने और खाने वाले हैं ये उनके सख्त खिलाफ है. मैं समझता हूँ कि उनके हालात को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए जो भी फैसला किया जाए उसके ऊपर अमल दरामद किया जाए.
As the Sindh government relaxed coronavirus restrictions that were imposed from July 31, business and commercial activities are limping back to normalcy, reports suggest.
Moving on, with picturesque landscape and cultural diversity, Gilgit-Baltistan is the ultimate tourist destination. However, locals and tourists have blamed Islamabad's unwillingness to develop infrastructure in the illegally occupied region has led to downfall of the tourism sector. A report. The remote Himalayan region of Gilgit-Baltistan is blessed with breathtaking beauty as it features stunning valleys and crystal blue lakes. However, locals and tourists blame Islamabad's indifference to bring about infrastructural development has adversely affected the tourism sector in the illegally occupied region. A few visitors in Fundar Valley recently complained that the poor conditions of roads and hotels serve as a major hindrances for even the domestic tourist, leaving them disappointed.
There are a few things I noticed. The road condition is not good here. I especially request government of Pakistan and government of Gilgit-Baltistan to focus on the road and the hoteling industry. if they focus the road and the hoteling, there are more tourists going to come, and even the local and international tourists will come here.
Locals say with proper policies and planning by the Pakistan government, the tourism sector could have given a major boost to the economy of the illegally occupied region. However, it has remained backwards and underdeveloped due to the apathy of the federal government of Pakistan over the years. In news from Nepal, scores of devout shamans thronged the famous temple in the midst of a forest in Nepal on Sunday to mark the festival of threads, Janai Purnima. The occasion is considered auspicious to start learning shamanism, an ancient religion practiced by several ethnic groups in the Himalayan nation.
Scores of people who believe in shamanism, a religion practiced by many ethnic groups in Nepal, thronged a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva in the midst of woods in Kavrepalanchong district to mark Janai Purnima, the festival of threads, on Sunday. Janai Purnima is considered to be one of the auspicious days to start learning shamanism. The Tagadharis, Brahmins, Kshetris and Vaishyas change their Janai or sacred thread, which is worn across the chest on this occasion. Similarly, a sacred thread is also tied on the wrist. Some of the practitioners, dressed in traditional religious attires, were also seen singing devotional songs and beating drums near the temple to mark the festival.
गोसाइँकुण्ड मन्दिर भन्छन् यसलाई हैन गोसाइँकुण्ड हो अब यसमा चाहिँ धार्मिक परम्पराका अनुसार अब यो जनै पूर्णिमामा चाहिँ विशेष गरेर जात्रा लाग्छ अब जनै परम्परागत तागदारीहरूले जनै लाउन आउनुहुन्छ त्यही हो
अब यो जहिले चाडपर्व मानिरहेको हुन्छ त्यही भएर आउनु मन लाग्छ वर्षिन आइरहेको ठाउँमा एकचोटि नआउँदाखेरि त कस्तो कस्तो लाग्छ त्यही भएर पनि आउनु मन लाग्छ.
Shamans also consider Janai Purnima as a day to donate a quarter of their yearly earnings and seek blessings in return. Considered as doctors of medieval and early ages, shaman practitioners are believed to possess the power to heal and treat patients. However, with the advancement in the field of medicine, the practice has now been confined as the continuation of tradition and cultural values only.
Members of marginalized LGBT community, mostly transgender people, have participated in a training program to turn them into healthcare workers in Vadodara city of India's Gujarat state. As many as 10 members are among the first of the batch to become dedicated health workers. Some of these members will also turn into Corona warriors, a term used to denote healthcare workers and sanitation workers who were on the front line during the coronavirus crisis. As many as 10 members of marginalized LGBT community are among the first of the batch to become dedicated health workers in Vadodara city of India's Gujarat state. They participated in a training program to turn them into healthcare workers to do away from a life of begging, dancing and prostitution. The idea sprung from the integration of home health aid and lifting of the marginalized section of the society, enabling them to earn a dignified living.
के लिए एक फिक्स काम है कि लोग नाचेंगे गाएंगे या रास्ते से कुछ अर्न करेंगे, एक इमेज हो गया था. लेकिन इस ट्रेनिंग की वजह से आज को उनको एक डिग्निफाइड कोरोना वॉरियर का जो एक सर्टिफिकेशन होता है कि हम सारवार के लिए खड़े हैं और हम तैयार हैं, तो इसके लिए हम वी आर वेरी प्राउड कि हम इनको एक इस लाइन में अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहे हैं कि जहां ये लोग अपनी डिग्निटी और रिस्पेक्ट से काम कर सके और कमा सके.
Some of these members will also turn into Corona warriors, a term used to denote healthcare workers and sanitation workers who were on the front line during the coronavirus crisis.
मैं खुद को अच्छा महसूस कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि भीख मांग की जो ज़िंदगी जीना वो अच्छा ज़िंदगी नहीं होता है. ये सब ऐसे तो करते हैं ना करते हैं है ना. लेकिन अभी दीपक फाउंडेशन हमारे लिए इतना कुछ कर रहा है, हमको पढ़ा रहा है और जॉब देने की भी वादा किया है ना. तो मैं तो खुद को बहुत अच्छा महसूस कर रहा हूँ.
The transgender community members are frowned upon in India and struggle to get a decent education and job opportunities. Facing sniggers, abuses and bullying, they are often forced to drop out of educational institutions and jobs. Adult transgenders are left with limited choices of occupation like begging or prostitution. Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.